and then the floor is yours. Okay,
So,
I will tell the protocol, and then you can do. Okay, then you can start. So to everyone who is joining this Zoom meeting, I have to tell you we are live streaming on Facebook. If you don't want to show your face, please hide your camera. You can even change the name if you want. So you still can ask a question, but we are just using this footage for the future. Um, and if you have a question, you can raise your hand in the Zoom application. And for the rest, the floor is yours, Ivan. And thank you for doing this 1 hour presentation.
thank you. For me, I understand that fraternity, spiritual fraternity, is a very good, big power. Why? Because I because fraternity is a responsibility of each one, and if we want to change world, we have to do each one the fraternity in the world. I explained that first, every people in the world believe in God, but they have all their own reality of the life, and they have their own reality of God. God is so infinite that he can present himself to everybody as a special meaning of him. And we must understand that we are not animal, but we are personality who live in a body, an animal body. If people understand that, they try to think about personality, and they try to understand what is a personality. As personality is given by God, who is a super personality, the consequence of that is everybody is a daughter or son of God. If we take care of life, and if we respect life, we respect all sorts of life because it's a creation of God. If every people understand the fact they are a personality, they understand that they have to take care of everybody in the world. All action, all individual action has a consequence all over in the world. The small thing each people done in the world have a consequence on all over the world. A small consequence, but if everybody don't respect the fact of fraternity, they together make disease in the world. If we want to stop disease, every people by himself must respect the life and must think of spirituality and fraternity. The fact that in each work, in each action, people have a choice. And if they make the good choice, they can improve the evolution of the society everywhere in the world. But we have to do this all together. And we have to wait that all people want to do that, want to do the fraternity in the world. We are many people who wait for a master, but the master is not the solution, because a master, the consequence of a master is slaves. And any people are not slaves. They must take their responsibility in order to make the world grow. In this fact, the solution is only fraternity and responsibility of everyone in the world. This message is the most important to bring to everybody and to think of fraternity all around the world. Any thinking of God they can have. The reality of everybody make a real difficulty of every people to believe that they are brother and sister. They believe that their God is the only one who is right. But in fact, as I said before, God is so infinite, and there is so infinity in God that he can present himself as people want and according to the reality of each people. People must understand that they have their own conscience of God, but it doesn't break the fact that we have to respect each other and to be in fraternity everywhere. So the message is very important to pass everywhere in the world. I think some problem just a little thing I always say when I do action and I do something in my life. I can give you an example. If I go to shop and make some shopping, when I pay all sort of products I take, sometime the shop believed to forgot to make me paid one product. I have a solution, many solutions to do with that. I can go at home and say, okay, I have more money for me to buy another thing. But in fact, the consequence is very important because each time anybody use this thinking to this opportunity, they forgot that shop can grow value of products, and next time you go to shop, you pay more than things that you have got this time. And in fact, you don't have more money because all products have cost more than before. It's just a little example of the consequence of what happened when we don't think very well about an action and what to do. Everywhere in the world, people have work, and they're afraid that if they don't accept to do everything that the boss asks you to do, they don't do the good action in fraternity, and they cause disease everywhere in the world if the action of boss is not a good action or is not a big not the good way to do things in respect of fraternity. In France, we have 3 words: liberty, equality, fraternity. But these 3 words are not in the good order, and they are made by humanists and not people who believe in God. The good order of these 3 words is fraternity, equality, and liberty. Why? Because if we speak of fraternity, the spiritual fraternity, you are in respect with life and in respect with others. So you bring with that the equality between each person. And next, if we do everything in fraternity, that is to say, you every time take care of what is the best thing to do anytime in respect to others, people understand that they don't have to be afraid of your action. And they let you do many things because they believe in you. This lets you have most liberty to do anything. This is the real liberty. And you know, this fraternity is the first thing to do in order to make people understand that this is the real power they have in the world. All people have this power to do things in fraternity and to make all the world grow and the evolution going in the best way as possible. It's why now the most important is to make understand of the cosmic fraternity in the world and in the universe. This fraternity makes people better and make people have a very best life because all together try to do the best together. It will be a very long time to make this understand to every people in the world. And it will be very difficult to send this message to everybody. We must take time, we must take all time we can have, and you don't have to rush to do that, but we have to make the communication about the fraternity everywhere in the world. Now, in present, we have a disease with the coronavirus. And in fact, people wait for governments to do something. They don't do that by their own. They wait for government to make this. They understand that they have to do something, but they don't understand that it's their responsibility to do something. They are waiting for others to do something. It's not the good way. It's not the good way because they are not responsible. And we have to make this understand to every people. They have to do the best thing to prevent any disease in the world. Now, I see that people wait for something everywhere. They don't know exactly what they have to do. They wait for something to happen. They wait for somebody to say them what to do. But they don't understand the power of the action they can have with the minding of fraternity. And I hope next we can bring this message to everybody in order to make the world change and to make the world to be best.
So, Ivan, I do have a question. Can you explain us a little bit who you are, and you wanted to introduce yourself somehow? I forgot to give you the opportunity in the beginning, so that's why I'm asking now.
Yes, for myself, I am the president of association in France, and it's a long time I had this opportunity to be the president. I am not a leader as people want to understand that. I only is an organization man. I want to help people to do something if they want to have to do something. I don't take any decision by myself. I want to people make their own decision, and I help to them to do something. In France, we are all very old, and very less members than before because they are old. And even we have good reader and very good understanding of Urantia book, we forgot to prepare the new generation to come with us. So now I need to do that and to speak to new generation what happened in the world. It's why I speak about fraternity.
If correct, the French translation was the first one, no? After the English version. Is that correct?
Yes. One man, Jack Weiss, made the first translation. And it had been a special work and some problem with foundation. But the book is now at his 10th correction, and I think we have a good correction and a good translation of the Urantia book in French. So, if the Urantia book is a good way to understand everything about God. I think in life there is some people who are more spiritual than many Urantia readers because they do their best everywhere in the world without having reading this book. And it's why I want to speak of fraternity to people, because it's something they can understand very well, because they wait for that. It's the goal I have in France. So I finish my presentation, and if you have some question, you can.
Yeah. So I've been at several conferences in France. I think you are always very very passionate. You know, when you talk with each other, when you discuss the Urantia book, it's very very good to see that you really love the book. You know, and that when you speak with each other, my French is not good. You know that, but I can see it, you know, that you're all very passionate. And
Yes, and my English is not very good too.
no, and that is exactly what I also want to say is that if your English was that good as your French, it was wow. I think you're very intellectual, you know. Yeah, but
Thank
that
you.
just in general, very intellectual.
Okay, I have with me a person with Gilles Mauroy, and I think this person will be the next president.
Oh my God, what are you saying? Please, long last long.
Yes, but it's not at the time now, but next.
Yeah, please not yet, please not yet. You're doing such a great job. I mean it. Yeah, I would certainly love to be more involved, but you know, I wonder how people like Chris, for example, but many others, Chris Woods, the president of UA, but many others, how they managed having a full-time job, having a family, and spending so much time in service, like for the Urantia Foundation and UAI or whatever else service. You know, congratulations. I don't, you know, I think I have a lot of energy, but you know, just that seems to be at this point a bit too much for me. So I hope to slow down a little bit with work at some point, so I can have more time and energy to dedicate to other more service-oriented activities.
So Ivan, can you tell us a little bit about how many people there are, and at this moment, how many official members there are?
We are 35, I think.
35, but you used to be bigger, no? What was in the beginning?
Well, yes, before we reach 100 members.
100 members.
Now there is some young people, but they must take care of their family, and they don't want to take more time for association, as they have many work with their family. So I think there is some young people who come next with us when the work of the family go down. I want to present also another person who is very active in our association, is Daniel Lascala, who speaks many language. Daniel, if you can say something to you about you. Daniel. I think she's not here for now.
Yeah, Daniel, you can speak. I unmuted you. Do you want to say anything, Daniel?
Yes, with pleasure, because I have big dreams, and the first dreams was to extend book of Urantia to Italy, and I continue. But what I hope it is in my place, in my center of Swiss, to have an international possibilities, to have more readers, also English, German, French, because here in Lugano, it's wonderful. It's wonderful as location, but it is wonderful that most people speaks almost two good and 3 or 4 language, and it is good for fraternity. It's an opportunity. I think it's not given everywhere in the world, and I try to have friends and to bring them to the Urantia book. In this moment, I have more fraternities than readers, but I have a lot of new friends, and I find my old friends when I was a student here in Lugano, and it's so marvelous to find this common sense of fraternity. It's like a family, a big family, and I am very, very happy to be in this place where I hope from all my heart to do something to federate more and more readers in French or Italian or English or Spanish, no problems. Now I have very good friends here in Lugano from Latino America, and I hope to create also a little group from Spanish-speaking readers. So my projects are big. I hope that our Father will give me good health to continue in this what I am doing, opening always my home to friends and hoping and believing in the real fraternity between all of us. In my little region, Tessin, we speak Italian, but also German, also French, and of course, tourism, also English. So it's a very international place. And if I can create a little group international, I would be very, very happy. And I love all my friends, all people, like English, Spanish, Australian, or what else. So
thank you, Daniel, very well.
So,
you know, she is very old and she is very incredible when they do everything so hard. So it's very unbelievable.
thank you.
so Ivan, I several times your association or during meetings, I think in Tallinn, we discussed this about a house in France. What can you tell us about that project? And do you know
Yes.
more?
So we have a little group who try to make a center we can accept the people in order to make them have questions of God and of spirituality. We go slowly because we have to do something very new. We have to do something accordingly with Urantia book and Jesus meaning. Jesus do something in the world that is very important. He prepare all his work and have a special meaning to do the work he did. So we have to find the good solution to make a center in order to have people to live spirituality by themselves, and we just want to help them to understand without have masters or anything like that in this center. I think we want to make a center when people can go there and live something special. And we don't try at the moment the good solution. And I think we try to do slowly some experience, making some how I can say some experience to make people live something together in different place and test what happened and test what we can do and what we don't have to do. So now it's only a project and we go slowly, and if people want to know about this project and the means we want to achieve this project, they can ask to us, and we can give some information of what we are doing.
Okay, thank you.
Would you allow me to add a couple of words on this project?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this project. I'm actually very active in this project. That's why very enthusiastic about saying a couple of words. So as Ivan said, we are in the early stage. We are just a small group of people. At this point, really just discussing what to do and what we want to do and so on and so forth. There is not really yet any practical plan. And we realize that there are two main motives, goals in our desire. One is to live closer to each other. A lot of us feel like we are isolated. So yes, we participate into study groups, Zoom, and some of us, maybe we have the chance of participating in physical gatherings for studying the books. Some of us do some kinds of volunteering services and so on and so forth. But many of us feel, and I certainly do, I have felt this way all my life, very isolated. So we have this craving of being close to each other, to be able to share the spirit and to help each other grow in the spirit, grow in our communion with the Father, and grow in the achievement of our psychic circles, among other things. So that's one key element. The other key element is the will, the desire to share with other people, and not only to share within the community of the Urantia book readers. We share the book and what we learn, and our passion for the teachings and so on and so forth, is to share to people who broader, to be broadening the range to the external circle. And not necessarily to people who would be inclined to read the book, but to share what is the spirit, what it means to have an internal spiritual life. Of course, with the hope that would help enliven and help the life of people by working on their own inner life with the spirit. And there are many ways to approach it. And this is the kind of topics I hope we'll be able to discuss in fairly soon. The last point that I would make is that from practical purposes, obviously we don't have means. We don't feel like we're in a position to go after to get some funds from other people, like in the community or anything like that. So our current plan is to start small with what we have, and in particular, the two of us in the group have a house that is it's just a house, but good size house where we can have a number of people live in that house. And the idea is to use our houses to run some experiment, either within us, within ourselves, to have some weekends, some weeks, perhaps extended periods of time where we can experiment the community and what can come out of it, and perhaps at some point to be able to invite guests, have some weekends, some weeks where we could have some activities that would be fostering the growth in communion with the Spirit. So that's kind of where we're at. I take advantage to invite people to contact me if they have any interest or any experience. I know, for example, that in Colorado there is an active community, and some people are ahead of us in this kind of realizations. So if anyone is interested in contributing, sharing, I'm very happy to communicate with this kind of person. We are again in the early stage, and we have a lot to learn, and we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have 8 minutes left. Are there any other questions? Do you want to say something more, Ivan?
Yes, I think about this book, we can understand the opportunity that we have something to do in the world. But we must not do that as master. We must do that as friend. And the problem is not to say about Urantia book, but we have to say it about what we are, what we really are, what is a human person. And if we can make understand to any people that they are not animal, that the law of human is reason and justice and value, the world can go in fraternity and the world can change. It's not the goal of person alone to do that. It's the goal of every people in the world. And I think if every people in the world come in fraternity, the world become very, very rich and best. It's my conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I do have a last question because we also have
Okay.
some from Africa. What is the current connection between France and Africa? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So as now we don't have many people with to do many things. We don't do many things about Africa, but we can help them. Last time we help a person to have a computer and to have communication with all the world in order to help people in Africa to understand what happened in the world. So we do small things when we can, and when African ask us, and it's the same with Italian people. There is we began to do something in Italy, but it's a responsibility of all people in Italy to make it grow. But sometimes there is problem because they go on another way according to some funny new wave, and I only can wait of people to want to do something. If people want to do something and ask me to help them, I can do that. But if they don't ask me, I can't do anything because I don't understand what they want to do. And when there is a problem like in Italy, I want only 1, 2, or 3 people who want to continue, who want to do something to ask me to help them to realize what they have to do. It's my goal. I don't want to do something by myself because I'm not sure to do the best. I want people to ask me. So I wait and see.
Thank you, Ivan. I'm sure that France can help us out when we have some conferences in Africa with French-speaking Urantia book readers. I think Christian, he wants to say something.
Hey, my brother. I'm so new to Zoom. I don't know how you made that magic happen, but I'm here. Excuse my headdress. There's mosquitoes in Australia at the moment, and I just got my. I'm actually from New Zealand.
I think Christian. Christian, we can't hear you. I think the last 1 minute was lost.
Sweden. Now you can see why I get bitten by mosquito. Mobile space.
Oh, okay.
I'll try again. I wanted, and I will speak slowly. I wanted to say to my last brother that spoke that he totally inspired me. His take on fraternity and what we should do together was totally on the mark. We say in English, it kind of hit the nail on the head. And I was so inspired by his words, his quiet thought, and the mission that he said to us all, which is like, how do we do it? It reminds me of the rain that falls and every drop that falls when each of us feels that mission in our heart. It's like the little sticks have to come together to light a fire, and sometimes they're blown apart and sometimes they can't be lit. But when we all get our little sticks together and we light the fire, it's going to be good. And truly for me in my life, to all of you that read Urantia, and I hope I haven't cut out here, but even if the audio is happening, it's such a revelation and such an amazing take, and yet leaves us with such personal responsibility. And that's why I loved my brother's words, because he said, unless we all join together with our little drops and put them all in the bucket, they won't be lost on the ocean. They will all create something cool. And in my life, the coolest thing I've ever known are the words of the Urantia book. And to meet brothers and sisters that go like, do you know what? We should just do this. I'm totally inspired. I want to give a shout out to Pat O'Banton because I love him so much. He was in Sydney recently with his wife. He is one of the people in the Urantia movement that I just have to give a shout out to because he's doing the work. Just like the brother that spoke from France. It's so cool for me to hear the wise words of a professional man that inspired me. And he just so did. He so inspired me. I was looking at some of the Urantia stuff today and it was like readings. But what he said went into my heart. And I just want to give you, my brother in France, a big thank you very much. That's all, bro. You totally inspired my heart. The words you said were wise, inspirational, thoughtful, and like a blueprint forwards for my own life.
Thank
so
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have to go on. The only thing is, like, we're gonna have a couple of minutes of a break, so you can freely talk, and then we will continue with the presentation of Olga.